Hi everyone, my name is Tara Argel and I'm the founder and creator of Trailblazing Communications, but I'm not here to talk to you about that. I'm here to be my authentic self and to talk to you about something that I think is very important to talk about. So you see, my background, I'm in my 50s now, and my background is I'm a wife, a mother, I was a mental health counselor for over 20 years. I'm an artist. I have lots of titles I can shoot at you and, whatever, but that's not what I'm here to do either. I'm here to talk to you about you. And I'm here to talk to you about you because I want to share with you a part of my story. So a lot of people could say, oh my gosh, you're a mental health counselor. Oh my gosh, you've had success building a business, or you this or you that. And I want you to know that when I was in my late 30s, early 40s, I became very, very sick. I came down with the diagnosis of fibromyalgia. And in that point in time in my life, I believed in one way of looking at things. I believed that when you were struggling, you asked others for help. And I'm not saying don't do that, but I believe that, and I believe that when you were sick, you went to the clinic, or you went to the hospital, you went to a doctor. And those systems are there for a reason, and they're useful, and I'm not saying they're bad in any way, but I saw life from one perspective. And at that time, I was working in a counseling private practice, and I was following other people's rules, and I was working how other people wanted me to work, and I hadn't done as much work on myself as I needed to do. And what I mean by that is we all have traumas. We all have experiences that have hurt us, that have held us back, that we've allowed to define us in some way. And I was no different than you with regards to that. And so I was in a situation where I felt I had to be. And, when we have beliefs that don't align with what our soul is really about, we can become sick. So I wasn't happy in the group practice that I worked in. I was looking to be successful. I felt like I needed to be with other people to be able to build my business. I had a lot of beliefs that were standing in my way. But the one belief that I really want to talk to you about is the belief that I came to after I allowed all this stuff in my life to define me, to push me down, and compounded with the energies that I needed to move regarding my emotional state and my belief state. And I was a counselor. I should know better, right? Well, I have found too that system is it's in a box. And so what my soul was calling me to do was get out of the box, and I was too scared to do it. So in fighting that call, I became very sick. I came down with fibromyalgia. By 10 o'clock every morning, I was so sick. I was so wiped from so much pain and so much nausea and brain fog and that I was losing my energy and my will to live. And so, what do you do when you're a counselor and you're suicidal? I would hope that you'd reach out, but there was a sense of pride that I had. And so I had a couple friends that I could talk to about it, thank goodness. And, they listened and they held space for me, but I was getting desperate because I believed I couldn't work anymore. I believed I couldn't play with my kids. I had 2 kids at that time that were fairly young. I had a marriage that I felt like I couldn't show up for. And the doctors, the Western medicine doctors, were telling me there's nothing that I could do about this, and that I needed to learn to live with it. They said they could give me antidepressants. They said they could give me this med and that med. And then they told me, I lived in the middle of a block at that time, and they told me to strive for being able to walk to the end of the block and back. And that was my prognosis, my future prognosis at the age of 39 and a half. Well, I didn't like it, and I didn't think I could deal with it. So I started contemplating not being here anymore. And I know a lot of people are doing that today, and I want to tell you that there is hope, there's answers. I didn't know what they were. And then, I was at the dark night of my soul. And what I know now, thankfully I learned by not taking my own life, was that when you're at that point, your life has fallen apart enough so that it can fall back together. And what I mean by that is, I hung in there. My neighbor came by and told me about a guy that worked in her office, and she did athletic training or whatever, and so she had access to a doctor of osteopath that was doing some complementary stuff with energy and with it was called biomeridian testing, and he did homeopathics as well. She told me about him, and I thought, well, what I don't necessarily believe in that stuff, but I'll give it a try, because I'm ready to make a really big decision. And so I went to this doctor, and lo and behold, his process, along with, I reached out to someone else I knew that did a energy modality called Reiki. And I reached out to them, and between those two, what I learned is that fibromyalgia is a toxic system. I was emotionally toxic, I was physically toxic with chemicals, viruses, bacterias, and I needed to do a detox, and I did that homeopathically through this doctor of osteopath. And when I started to detox, and I started to feel, and I started to look at decisions I needed to make to be happy, I got better. I don't have fibromyalgia anymore. And I am so grateful to that neighbor. And I want to say to you, hang in there. And I really want to tell you, hang in there. And I cry because I think, what would my family have done if I would have made that dumb decision? If I would have believed that there was nothing else that I could have done? It hurts my heart, because I can't imagine one of my family members committing suicide and leaving us wondering what we might have done wrong or what we could have done different, or the pain of it would have never gone away. It would have hurt my family beyond belief. And as a mom, I'd never want to do that. So I'm telling you, there's hope. There's answers. You might not see them in this moment. Keep looking. And I want to tell you that that's one of the reasons that I built my business, Trailblazing Communications. It's an energy modality that you can do for yourself to help you get out of a hole, get out of whatever. I use it almost daily for myself, my family, my animal companions. So I want to tell you there's hope. And I'm not saying trailblazing is the only answer, but it might be that morsel that you need to hear about today, just to give you some hope and maybe start you looking. So check it out at trailblazingcommunications.com. Please rethink your decision if you're contemplating suicide or hurting yourself in any way, because your family does love you, your family will miss you, and people will never be the same in their hearts and souls if you leave. So please reach out, please ask for help. It's not shameful to be in that spot. Many people are there. I was there myself, and I was a mental health counselor. Hang in there.